Okay, everybody, so welcome back. This is Ian from Mindful Marketplace, and today is the 18th of April, 2022. And really quickly, I'm going to give you just a couple little short walkthroughs of some of the things I really appreciate about the HeartBeat software as a service community platform. This is a alternative to something like Circle or Mighty Networks, or even on a larger scale, something like Facebook groups. And I really recommend checking out HeartBeat. And if you do, there is a link below that you can actually sign up using our Mindful Marketplace affiliate link. And if you sign up, send me an email, mindfulmarketplace@gmail.com, and I'll share with you some additional strategies that I'm not necessarily publishing in public. So, as a quick aside, I recorded a longer audio, about 12, 15 minutes, earlier today for my private community. That's partners.mindfulmarketplace.com. You can see our community, which runs on Podia. And in that audio, I compared and contrasted some of the HeartBeat versus Circle versus Podia features and functionality, and how I'd recommend folks proceed who are building a community in 2022. All right, so let's log into HeartBeat. This is really, they have a magic link login, which is different than Circle, so, and different certainly than Podia. So you can see that there. I just opened the email for my Hey, where it'll give me the. There you go. Oh, let's see. My computer, my wireless, where I'm recording this from, is really stinking slow. Let's go back. Okay. All right. So this is a test community, and I'm going to show you some of the really cool things that you can do. So you can see this is a trial. You can sign up for a trial again at the link below if you're watching this on YouTube. You can import a community from Slack. They actually have an import from Circle function or feature, which I really like. I haven't used, but I really like, and I have a client who's done that already. You can connect via Notion, connect via Zoom, create channels. This is all the first sort of kickstart screen that you'll see. Create docs. Docs are sort of the the resources, the links, the guides. Really, I think actually the knowledge base is the best choice of jargon for this particular set of documents, and it's all this is very different. They have a different sort of approach to community than those of you who are using Mighty Networks or Circle, or certainly Buddy Boss or Buddy Press would be accustomed to. It's really a little bit different, and I really enjoy the user experience both as an administrator and a user alike. I have signed up for a couple HeartBeat communities, just really enjoyable to use. You can change the theme here. We'll cover these, and I have covered these in some other videos, but the things that are really interesting are the customize the onboarding flow, so you can actually change all the various ways that that you sort of welcome people to your community, right? So if you look at this here, the questions that folks actually get, they're prompted with when they sign up for a HeartBeat community are set here. So you can see the ones that I did sort of in jest were enough about me. What do you think about me? What is your specialty? That I think was probably either. I think I actually did that myself. I mean, they have some templatized questions that you can start with. I customize some of these. Is there anything we can do to help, etc.? You can ask a question here, add a question, which would be. Whatever it is, right? You can, just add a question like this. You can make it required. You can include the answer in the user bio, or you can have it set as private. And this is just a really good way of prompting people to, kind of interact with your content before they're actually really genuinely interacting with your community. And I find that this is something that most of us, myself included, really drop the ball in doing when you create community. Like, if you don't have this sort of immediate engagement element, then people kind of, they check out what you're up to in the world and they sort of bounce, right? They're like, nah, I don't know, interesting, maybe not. They'll read a couple things. But when you actually give people these prompts, that a really quick tip here for these prompts, and this is something that I never had thought of doing before, but recently have started exploring, which has been really successful, is I went out and purchased like 100 icebreaker questions from Etsy, right? And I started. This wasn't in our circle. This wasn't in this HeartBeat community, but in a client project. And essentially, it was a little bit of a different, sort of a more esoteric topic, and we just basically took these icebreaker questions and customized them to the topic for this particular client's niche and community, and made them fun and light, like like silly stuff, like pick the first, like Google, a celebrity with your first name, take the, third letter in their name and the first word that comes to mind. I mean, silly stuff like that, that you would think would be kind of nonsensical, was actually really high from an engagement standpoint. Like, people were enjoying that, and it actually shows up in HeartBeat, if you're doing this on HeartBeat, on their profile, right? So it's actually a great way of lightly, gently using a very light, humorous touch to introduce your members to each other and to the community itself. All right, so you can add a group here. I'm not going to cover all of this here. I've done some other videos on HeartBeat, and again, I recommend listening to the audio that I did earlier today, where I kind of contrasted something like HeartBeat versus Circle. You can have a code of conduct set up here, and you can put a video. Circle has the same functionality where you can put a video that introduces you and your community to members. You can toggle this on and off. As you can see here, you would just input a Loom, YouTube, or Vimeo link. There's some other things here as well. I'm going to cover also things that I think are really cool about HeartBeat, in addition to the onboarding setup, the customization that you can do here, is the matchup feature. It's really, really interesting, very cool, and a unique way of facilitating user audience engagement, like member to member engagement, by dint of finding similar things that folks are signed up for within your community, cohorts, let's say, or areas of interest, and then facilitating these introductions that are privatized to members in a way that encourages them to get in touch, to reach out, and to connect with other folks in their cohort, in their course, or in the larger community itself, by dint of the algorithmic similarity that HeartBeat's, kind of, whatever the right word is recognizing that these folks ought to know each other. All right, so we'll cover that in another video, so this doesn't get too long. But HeartBeat is very cool. It's different. It's not nearly as polished yet in some respects as Circle or one of those other tribe-like alternatives. But in many ways, its lack of polish, I think, is a feature rather than a bug. I find that the app experience is super easy to use as as both an administrator and as a user. I find that I think the threads and just the general way in which you create content on HeartBeat just is enjoyable to me. You can create polls, right? You can set up polls right here within the editor. You can make them anonymous. You can add attachments. You can add all the standard images, video, etc. I just really like I just like the pop-up modal. I just like everything about the way their aesthetic is. And again, it's not as polished yet. They're iterating on this product very quickly. I've been very impressed with some of the feature rollouts that seem to come week over week. One of the things I don't love thus far is the support has been a little bit kind of meh with respect to, like, I've had questions that I've asked that have gone a week without being responded to. But I'm not paying for HeartBeat. I'm just I'm trialing it and doing some demos for folks in my community. Murtaza, the guy who I think is the CEO, and I've had some conversations via email, and he's usually apologetic when he doesn't respond to stuff. And as a matter of fact, they actually just released an update over the weekend. Again, today is the 18th, so this was probably yesterday or Saturday, where they actually acknowledged the fact that they're growing so quickly that their support has been a little bit maybe slow, and they hired somebody to actually handle community interactions, Q&A, et cetera, in a more expedient way. So, nonetheless, I recommend checking out HeartBeat. Again, if you use our affiliate link and you sign up for a paid plan, just let me know, and I will send you some extra, content for building community in a unique way that I think most folks aren't really talking about in the entrepreneurial world. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. I'd also like to point out that we are creating a whole new community for ourselves. In May of 2022, we have a bunch of book writing challenges. My new brand is called A Tiny Book About, and this is a new publishing platform revolving around tiny books, tiny courses, tiny products, and lots of cool little things that we're publishing that are designed to inspire teens and kids and adults with mental health challenges that I'm really excited about. It's a mindfulness-based project and platform, but it's a very different sort of thing than I've done up to this point. I have a couple partners in this, some family and friends who are involved, and I'm excited about that. So if you're interested in writing a book or teaching a course or creating an audio style private podcast course, or any sort of interest in starting your own thing using tiny products, and you'd like to be part of our community, also get in touch, and I can I'd be happy to share more about what we're up to there as well. Okie doke, thank you again so much for watching, and there's some other videos on HeartBeat coming, and again, I did record this audio earlier today as well, so if you're interested in this, you may be interested in listening to that too. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.